Hey everybody, Dan Stokes in Paducah Ford, your Bronco headquarters. Good news, Ford Performance Programmer for 23 models is now available. We've actually had this for a couple weeks. This is the first one I'm going to put on my personal Bronco. There are two different modules, one for a 2.3, one for a 2.7, so you got to get the right motor. But the 22 and 21s have been out for a while, but they changed some programming on the 23. So they had to reprogram the actual performance modulator here to fit it. So these vehicles have been out for a little while without being able to tune them. So if you're running 35s, 37s, whatever, you've probably been running on a bad speedo. So what we're going to do is we're going to download this software so we can get our tire size right, so our speedo is right, and so we can actually get a true indication of our odometer and our speed. Also, it will allow us to run a little bit better programming for the size of the tires to actually get you going, moving, and be a faster automobile. So let's see how this thing works. All right, so this is it. This is your programmer right here. You know, it's a small little device. All your software's in there. It's going to come with, if you want a little mount thing to put that up there, if you're interested in doing that. Here's your actual download thing right there, and it comes with a USB device as well. So I presume our instructions are probably right there in the QR code, so let's scan that and let's see what we need to do next. First off, a bit of an ominous message. Warning, your vehicle can be rendered inoperable and or your engine could be severely damaged if you fail to follow steps on this voucher carefully. So, don't just assume you know what you're doing. Do it properly, because you're messing with the actual programming of this vehicle. It's not done right. You can fry PCM or worse. And it can get quite expensive, so make sure you follow these to a T. Gives you a QR code, you scan this, and it takes you to an actual Ford Performance list of instruction sheets. So this being a fairly new programmer, you got to go all the way to page 11, and this particular one is M9603B23 right there. So there is actually no software in this. You have to download it. So we got to create an account, and then we'll download the software onto the module. So let's start with the account. All right, so now we're on the PC. I logged back into my account, so the software is actually saved there. So even though I created it on my phone, the software's there. So I'm ready to download it. Open the zip file. And we got a setup wizard. So we'll go through these prompts and see how it turns out. All right, so once you get that zip file and you download it and all that, the next thing is you need to plug in the actual device into your computer. And supposedly, once you do that, it's going to activate the software on your computer. So we see it's loading, so let's just kind of see what happens. Hopefully this happens automatically. So looks like there's an update for the device, so we're going to click yes, we want to update that. But it is actually all happening automatically. Once we plug it in, it kind of found the software, and looks like it's all handling itself, so that's good. So we're doing a couple updates, getting the most up-to-date software, and it looks like, transferring applications. So it looks like it's actually downloading the software right now. So this will probably take a minute or so. All right, so let's plug this bad boy in. So plug that cable. This goes into your OBD2, which is almost on every vehicle down here by your left foot. And then you push your start button, but do not press the brake. And on this, since it's a stick, don't press the clutch. And then magically starts this guy up. Okay, I agree. Programming. All right, so we do want to save the stock calibration. You always want to save your stock, just in case something goes not according to what you think. You want to make sure you have the stock code. Key off for 3 seconds, so let's turn that off. Try turn it back on, then 3 seconds. going to change our tires first. Okay, says it took. All right, so when you're going to program the actual tire size, you go to Diagnostics and Tools, Tire Gear Adjustment, and okay, I've already done it. So I have the revolutions per mile. That's what you need to tell the computer. For a 35-inch tire, it's 593. How do I know that? Well, because I Googled the rollout of a 35-inch tire, and there it is, 593. So all you have to do is just look that up. It's basically how many times the tire turns around in a mile, and a 35-inch tire turns 593 times in a mile. So you're telling the computer that's how many times it revolves, and then that way they can tell the speedometer how fast you're going. So I've already done that. It's pretty simple. You go right there, you put in your number. All you have to do is just search on the internet. It'll tell you what it is, put that in there, and then follow the prompts. Very, very simple. Now, as far as your gearing ratio, you're not going to mess with that unless you put a different rear end in there. I have not put a different rear end in there. This is the standard rear end that comes with the car, so there's no reason to mess with that. But if for some reason you did change out your rear end, for instance, if you got like a Outer Banks or something like that had, you know, a 431 or something, you could change your rear end if you decided. But that takes hardware. You can't just change the programming without changing the hardware. Okay, so I never really got instructions on exactly how to do this, but looks like, so we backed up the stock software on the module. Now putting it back on the computer, looks like it's taken that stock software and actually downloaded it to the PC. So now I've got those stock settings on the PC. We re-logged in to Ford Performance, and now it's saying, have we upgraded our front drive unit to any of the following part numbers? No, we have not upgraded any of our front drive axles. Okay, so now we got a performance calibration. So it looks like they give us a little dashboard here. So here's our stock software and here's our performance calibration. And I presume that is on the actual module now. So let's go see. Okay, I think it's on the module. Let's see if we can actually download this. Let's disconnect the module and let's see if we can put this into the car now. All right, let's see. Turn ignition on. Okay, so we do have a performance calibration file, and we are actually writing to the computer right now. So this is the moment of truth, when you're actually writing onto the module itself. You're programming this module, so don't unplug, make sure you have a full battery. That's very important. If your battery doesn't have enough juice and you start doing this and it dies, man, you will have fried your stuff. So very, very important to make sure you're prepared before you actually start doing the writing to the ECU, because you can do serious damage. Don't be alarmed. Communication error, because it is not sending a signal back to all your infotainment and stuff like that, so there's no communication right there because it's actually writing to the device. You'll see messages like that. Don't freak out. All right, let's start this thing. See if we got any error codes or No check engine lights, no error codes. I'll tell you what, let's drive it and see how it does. All right, so basically we have put our performance tune in here. Now this is gonna be all anecdotal because I don't have any instruments telling me how fast I'm gonna accelerate or anything like that. But this is just gonna be how this truck feels. How does this Bronco feel after I put the performance tune in? You know, this is a stick shift 2.3, so I can kind of control my own acceleration to some degree. But let's see if it gets a little bit more jumpy. To me, I can tell the difference. I think it's got immediate acceleration. I think it actually is responding quicker. Under normal, like pedal feel, it seems like it's jumping more. You know, I don't have any data on exactly what that is or how it responds, but just by feel, and that's really all I care about is how does it feel to drive. I think it's made a significant difference in what you're gonna get. So this module is a little over 800 bucks. You can program it yourself, which I just did, and I ain't that bright at this kind of stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, just after being in the car for just a couple minutes, I think it's damn well worth it. Let's see. You know, before with the 2.3, when you're in first gear taking a turn from a dead stop, it's a low gear, so it would, you know, kind of go quickly, and then you'd have to make a pretty quick gear shift. I wonder how that's going to feel comparatively now. Let's see, just from a dead stop, kind of how this thing will just kind of feel if you're just starting out. So nothing too terribly different there. Pretty much, you know, you're going to get going about 10-50 miles an hour and you're going to shift right away. There's no real change there. Let's make a turn while we're doing it. And get up to around 15, 18, depending on when you want to shift. Not much difference there, but I tell you what the big difference is. So if I want to get going quicker, I can feel that. And I guarantee you on our automatic it's probably more pronounced because you're not controlling the shift points yourself. So, but to me, you know, when you have the extra weight of the wheels on there and the tires, you know, this performance tune makes a big difference. It takes it from a little bit more bogged down, trying to get that mass rolling, to, man, I'm going 65 already, and it didn't feel like I was forcing it. It felt natural. You know, of all the four things you can buy, accessories, you know, some stuff is clunky, some stuff doesn't really look natural. Some of those fender flares kind of look goofy. You know, this soft top that we put on here looks great, but it was difficult to put on. This is easy. And for the amount of cost that it takes, a little over $800 and program yourself, I say if you're gonna do any modifications, this is number one. Start here, give yourself a little added performance. Certainly if you're gonna put wheels and tires, because you need to change your tire size, but it's well worth it. So thumbs up on the Ford performance calibration.